Welcome to the CMO Spotlight, and I'm here with Laura Trotter, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of the USIS Division of Equifax.
Never underestimate the value of relationships, especially when you need to get difficult things done. Prioritize the people side of things always and often. Grit and resilience. I think the saying goes something like, enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. Marketing sometimes involves taking risks, trying experiments that don't work, and really the ability to rebound from failure is key. And I find that really seeking the learnings from those experiences is something that I enjoy and find exciting. I've worked at companies where marketing is really given just lip service only. Sometimes that's for good reason, right? Sometimes marketing casts too wide of a net. And so this lack of focus really can have a negative impact on results. But sometimes though, I think people think they understand marketing because they've been exposed to marketing. And look, while I'm always open to suggestions and ideas, I do tend to bristle a bit when people equate marketing to kind of your fast food drive-through where they simply order what they want versus really what they need. The first thing is really connecting actions to results or impact. And then also making sure that people really understand the bigger purpose. Number two, I would say, is really looking outside. Marketers, like everybody, can fall victim to what I'll call having a myopic perspective. And then finally, I think the team really gets inspiration from one another. We all need a source of inspiration now and then. So sometimes seeing and hearing what your peers are doing not only can, spark that creative juice, but also even trigger a related but different thought or idea for your own work. There's a campaign that I was involved in with a previous employer called For All You Seek. The campaign was really conceived to appeal on an emotional level using the voice of customer that really emphasized the common aspiration of, again, our target audience, which was scientists at the time, to really seek scientific solutions. The campaign was a nested campaign strategy that represented this overarching corporate brand message, but also had included multiple industry campaigns that were slotted underneath this using the same theme. So it was multi-channel, multi-audience, and it was leveraged across paid, earned, owned social channels, but it was really integrated as well. And it was even used internally. I think what I learned from this campaign is, number one, the power of consistency and repetition. And then secondly, I think it was the first example that I had of this is what really, truly integrated marketing looks like. At first blush, this company had several wildly disconnected industries that it served. Everything from agrogenomics to forensics to microbiology. And so one could have really made an argument that there's no way you're going to come up with a campaign or a concept that is able to really resonate to all of these industries. And we did. And so it really resonated, which was a nice thing to have happen. And I think the third thing was how important the interlock with sales really is. So activating your sales team to catch, especially if you're doing some lead generation, to catch leads, especially if that's a new motion for the company, that's no joke. The importance of that can't be overstated. I think that, people sometimes forget that, even though the B2B sale is typically a complex one with lots of buyers and influencers and all that, but at the end of the day, you and I were people, the people that we are marketing to and that we're selling to, they're humans, they're people. The more we can keep that in mind as marketers, and by the way, sellers, the better off we're going to be. I think that we get a little bit abstract sometimes in the B2B world. So keeping that fundamental, just basic, that, at the end of the day, we are people. The one that comes to mind is from the author/poet Maya Angelou. She has lots of great quotes, But the one that really resonates with me is people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will always remember how you made them feel. And I think for me, that this really implies is that the fact that intent really doesn't matter. In other words, you may have not intended to hurt someone's feelings, for example, when you said or did something, but it kind of doesn't matter. Relationships are inherently hard. They're great to start off with, they're easy, but they require maintenance and consistent effort and care. But for me, the strength of my relationships, both professionally and personally, is the most fulfilling aspect of life.